Hey, no beer, drink better, Monroe. We're going to the Great Pacific Northwest in Portland. We're going to visit this brewery, virtually that is, and talk about Henry Weinhard. He came over from Germany and made some great beer, and he made some great soda as well. He had to do that during Prohibition because the government told him he couldn't make this stuff. Henry Weinhard's Private Reserve. It's a lager beer. It's fresh, it's cool, and it's got yeast that act slower at cooler temperatures. Let's go back to Henry Weinhard's Private Reserve. The name kind of bugs me. It's neither private nor reserve. It's like Victoria's Secret. Anyway, they had to put them in beer caves like this one to produce a beer that was cleaner looking and lighter in body. Henry Weinhard was an extraordinary gentleman who made great beer. Made a lot of it too. Over 100,000 barrels were made in the years up to Prohibition. He gave free beer to his workers, guaranteed 9-hour shifts, 6 days a week. Not too bad. There's a great story of him during a bank run, actually marching up to the front of the crowd and putting money into that bank. There's also another good story of him volunteering to pipe beer from his brewery to this fountain that was built in Portland. Now, the city officials did not take him up on that offer. After Henry's death in 1903, his sons and grandsons took over the company. Did well with it, and after Prohibition years were tough, though, so they decided to merge with Blitz Brewing Company. So it became Blitz Weinhard Beer Company. That did well for a while, but then eventually they sold to Pabst Brewing Company. I think it was in 1970 they actually did that, or 1979. PBR held them for a while and eventually had to themselves be sold into Stroh's. Stroh's did well for a while, but eventually had to be sold to Miller Brewing Company and then to Miller Coors. These acquisitions were very common during the years after Prohibition to our modern craft beer movement. Better folks, I hope you learned something about Henry Weinhard and the Henry Weinhard Blitz Weinhard Brewing Company. Here it is, what we'll be drinking today. This is his Private Reserve. Not private anymore, and a little bit of reserve, but pretty much everybody gets it. It's still a good beer, though. We're going to pop it open. Oh, yeah, one more thing. You see this? Keep it still. Henry Weinhard, HW. That's just a cool logo. I like that. The cap, equally cool. I just take notice of those things, and I like to point them out to y'all. Props, HW Henry Weinhard. Here we go, classic lighter. It does have some CO2, but deeper down the bottle. You can't see it on the camera. Got my Pilsner glass that I like to use. And this lager doesn't create a whole lot of head, so I like to pour it deep into the glass. Like that. Got a nice little frothy head, and it's not too bad. A little mushroom cloud, nice runnage. Very nice. Well, this is what you call a three-finger head because it's thick and foamy. And it persists, too. It's just nice. Now, this Henry Weinhard is made with Cascade hops, they say, which are from the area up in Portland, around the Yakima Valley and the Willamette Valley hops. You can't really smell them, though. They're made with it, but it's not prevalent. Very light, very clear, lots of bubbles. Enjoyable beer, very enjoyable beer. Clean in the mouth. You can get a little bit of tinge of hops on the sides of your tongue and a little bit in the aftertaste. Now, this probably is an adjunct lager, which means they probably use rice or corn, but nonetheless, it's a good beer, decent beer. Let's go ahead and call it a good beer. It's $6.99 a six-pack. You can't beat that for a good beer these days, especially a quote-unquote craft brewed beer, which just is stretching the limits of that name and the term there. But it's still what I like to call a craft beer because it's it's an old brewery from the United States. It started off small and made it big. Good success story, unfortunately, due to Prohibition and the hard times in the 50s and 60s and 70s. Had to close down and go with other breweries to make the beer still widely available, which is unfortunate, but it happens. Hopefully it won't happen in our new revolution of craft beer. Hopefully we can stay small and keep it small. But good beer. Good beer. You can see the lacing right there, the resulting foam that's still staying on the glass. Like I said, good beer. Light color, light body, refreshing, lots of bubbles. would be good with chicken, shrimp, seafood, the burger, whatever. It's Saturday. Football's back on. We got a couple of games. LSU's playing. ULM is playing Arkansas. And the Saints play tomorrow. So grab a 6-pack. I know it's available at the Real Smokers Paradise, or it was a week ago. This is a new beer that is coming to our market from Choice Brands, so it may take a little bit for them to get things in the shelf on a regular basis. But for $6.99, not bad. They also have I think it's called a Red Amber Flats. It's an amber ale. It's really good too. And there's one more I think we're going to get in our market that I'm not quite sure what it's called yet. It could be either the IPA or it could be the blonde or the cream ale. So anyway, look for it. Grab it. Tell me what you think. Post on No Beer, and we'll talk about it. All right, guys. Y'all have a good weekend.